Hey Libra, welcome back to your reading for the week of October 13th to 19th. I have to tell you, when I sat down to pull cards for you this week, the energy that came through was absolutely electric. Like seriously, I had to put the deck down for a moment and just process what was coming through because this is not your typical week, Libra. This is the week where everything you have been building, everything you have been working towards is about to shift into a completely different dimension. And I mean that in the most literal sense possible. So let me just dive right in because honestly, there is so much to unpack here, and I want to make sure we cover everything that is showing up for you. The first card that came out for you is the Nine of Swords. And I know what you are thinking. You are probably like, wait, that is the anxiety card, that is the worry card. What does that have to do with breaking the internet and creating a legacy? But stay with me here, because the way this card is showing up for you is actually really fascinating, and it is not what you think. The Nine of Swords in your reading is not about actual anxiety that is going to plague you this week. Instead, it is showing me this really specific energy of you finally releasing all of those mental patterns that have been keeping you stuck. You know those 3 a.m. thoughts? The ones where you lie awake, wondering if you are good enough, if your work matters, if anyone actually cares about what you are putting out into the world? Yeah, those thoughts. This card is telling me that this week, something is going to happen that completely obliterates those doubts. And I mean obliterates them. What I am seeing is that you have been carrying around this narrative in your head about your limitations. Maybe you have been telling yourself that you are not tech savvy enough, or you are too late to the game, or that your niche is too saturated, or that you missed your window of opportunity. The Nine of Swords represents all of those mental constructs that you have been battling with, probably for months or even years. But here's what is so powerful about this card, showing up right now at the beginning of your reading. It is here to show you the before picture. It is here to show you what you are about to shed completely. Because what happens this week is that you are going to do something, create something, share something, and the response is going to be so overwhelming in the best way that all of those anxious thoughts are going to seem absolutely ridiculous in hindsight. I am talking about the kind of validation that does not just make you feel good for a day, but actually rewires your entire self-concept. The universe is basically saying, okay, Libra, you have worried enough, you have doubted enough. Now watch what happens when you actually step fully into your power without all that mental interference. And I want to be really specific about what I am seeing here, because the Nine of Swords is also about the stories we tell ourselves in the dark. The narratives that seem so real at 3 a.m., but kind of fall apart in the daylight. This week is going to expose some of those narratives as complete fiction. You are going to see evidence, concrete evidence, that you have been underestimating yourself massively. And that evidence is going to come in the form of numbers, engagement, opportunities, or recognition that you genuinely did not see coming. Now, the second card that came through is the Knight of Wands, and oh my goodness, Libra. This is where things get really interesting. If the Nine of Swords was about releasing the old mental patterns, the Knight of Wands is about the sheer velocity of what is coming in to replace them. This is one of the fastest moving cards in the entire tarot deck. This is pure momentum, pure action, pure fire energy. And for you, Libra, who tends to weigh every option carefully and consider all perspectives, this energy is going to feel both exhilarating and slightly terrifying in the best possible way. The Knight of Wands is telling me that something you put out into the world this week is going to take off in a way that you cannot control. And I want you to really sit with that word, control. Because part of what is happening here is that you are learning to release your grip on the outcome. You are learning that sometimes the best things happen when you stop trying to manage every variable and just let your creative fire burn as brightly as it wants to burn. What I am seeing specifically is that this could be content that goes viral. Like actually viral. Not just performing well, not just getting good engagement, but spreading in a way where you are waking up to notifications that seem surreal. The Knight of Wands does not do anything halfway. When this energy shows up, it brings speed, excitement, risk-taking, and most importantly, it brings an audience that is ready to receive what you are offering. This knight is on a mission, and that mission is to get your message, your art, your work, your energy out to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. But here is what is really beautiful about this card in your reading. The Knight of Wands is not just about external success. It is about you finally embodying a version of yourself that you have been too scared to fully step into. It is about you taking risks that the old version of you would have overthought into oblivion. It is about you saying yes to opportunities before you feel fully ready. It is about you moving with such confidence and momentum that you do not have time to second-guess yourself. And that is what creates the legacy energy we are going to talk about. I also want to mention that the Knight of Wands can sometimes indicate travel or movement, and for some of you, this viral moment or breakthrough might actually happen while you are in transit, or might lead to travel opportunities. Like you might get invited somewhere, or your work might reach international audiences, or you might find yourself suddenly planning a trip that is connected to your career or creative projects. The Knight of Wands does not sit still, so neither will you this week. Okay, so the third card is Death, and I need you to understand something really important about this card because it is one of the most misunderstood cards in the tarot deck. Death is not about literal death. It is about transformation so complete that you become unrecognizable to your former self. It is about the death of old identities, old patterns, old ways of being in the world. And in the context of this reading, with everything else that is showing up, the Death card is absolutely powerful. What I am seeing is that the viral moment, the breakthrough, the internet breaking thing that happens this week is not just going to boost your numbers or your visibility. It is going to fundamentally change how you see yourself and how others see you. You are shedding an old skin. You are closing a chapter. You are ending a cycle. And the person you are becoming on the other side of this transformation is someone who operates from a completely different frequency. The Death card often shows up when we are ready to release something that we have been clinging to out of fear or familiarity. For you, Libra, I am getting that this might be about releasing your attachment to playing small. Maybe you have been keeping yourself in a box because it felt safe, or because you did not want to deal with criticism, or because you were worried about outgrowing certain people in your life. Whatever the reason, that box is about to explode, and you are not going to be able to go back to it even if you wanted to. This transformation is also about your relationship with your work and your purpose. The Death card is ruled by Scorpio energy, which is all about depth, intensity, and getting to the core truth of things. So what I am seeing is that this week might bring a moment of clarity where you realize that what you are doing is not just a hobby or a side project or something to kill time. It is your calling. It is your legacy work. It is the thing you are meant to be known for. And once you have that realization, there is no going back to treating it casually. And I want to talk about the legacy piece because that is what the Death card is ultimately about. It is about what you leave behind. It is about what lives on after you. And I know that might sound heavy, but the Death card wants you to think in those terms. It wants you to ask yourself, what do I want to be remembered for? What impact do I want to have? What do I want to create that outlives me? Because this week you are going to start building something that has that kind of staying power. The fourth card is the Hanged Man, and this is where the reading gets really nuanced, because the Hanged Man is about surrender, but it is also about seeing things from a completely new perspective. After all the action and transformation of the previous cards, the Hanged Man is asking you to pause and really integrate what is happening. Because here's the thing, Libra, when you have a breakthrough moment, when something goes viral, when you suddenly have way more attention and opportunity than you had before, it can be really disorienting. The Hanged Man is here to help you stay grounded in the midst of all that chaos. What I am seeing with this card is that you might need to temporarily step back from your old way of doing things. You might need to let go of the strategies that got you to this point because they are not going to be the strategies that take you to the next level. The Hanged Man asks you to be willing to see your situation from a completely inverted perspective. What if the thing you thought was a weakness is actually your greatest strength? What if the audience you were trying to reach is not actually your sole audience? What if the path you thought you were supposed to be on is not the path at all? This card is also about patience in a very specific way. It is not about waiting passively. It is about understanding that some things cannot be forced or rushed. After the initial explosion of the Knight of Wands energy, the Hanged Man is saying, okay, now let this integrate, let this settle, let this reorganize your entire worldview before you make your next move. Because if you try to capitalize on this momentum without first understanding what it means and where it is leading you, you might end up moving in the wrong direction very quickly. I am also getting that the Hanged Man might be asking you to sacrifice something this week. Not in a negative way, but in the sense that you might need to let go of old commitments or old versions of success that no longer align with where you are headed. Maybe you have been trying to be everything to everyone, or maybe you have been holding on to projects or relationships out of obligation. The Hanged Man is giving you permission to release those things. It is showing you that sometimes the most powerful move is to stop doing and just be for a moment. The fifth card is Two of Pentacles, and this is such a practical card in the midst of all this transformative energy. The Two of Pentacles is about balance, juggling multiple priorities, and staying flexible when things are in flux. And given everything else that is showing up in your reading, this card is basically saying, yeah, Libra, you are about to have a lot on your plate, and you are going to need to be really strategic about how you manage your time and energy. What I am seeing is that this breakthrough, this viral moment, this legacy building work is not going to exist in a vacuum. You still have your regular life to deal with. You still have bills to pay, responsibilities to manage, relationships to maintain. The Two of Pentacles is here to remind you that success is not about abandoning everything else in your life to pursue one thing. It is about finding a sustainable rhythm that allows you to honor all of your commitments without burning out. This card is also telling me that you might be juggling multiple opportunities this week. Like you might have several different doors opening at once, and you are going to need to decide which ones to walk through and which ones to politely decline. The Two of Pentacles is all about discernment. It is about understanding that just because you can do something does not mean you should do something. You are going to need to be really honest with yourself about your capacity and your priorities. I am also getting that the Two of Pentacles might be highlighting the need to balance your online world with your offline world. Because when something goes viral, or when you suddenly have a lot of attention online, it can be really easy to get completely consumed by it. You are checking your phone constantly, you are reading every comment, you are tracking every metric. The Two of Pentacles is reminding you to stay connected to your actual life. Go outside, talk to real humans, do things that have nothing to do with the internet. Because that balance is what is going to keep you sane and grounded as you navigate this new level of visibility. And here is something really practical that the Two of Pentacles is showing me. You might need to invest in some systems or support structures this week. Maybe that means hiring help, or setting up automation, or creating boundaries around your time. Because if you try to do everything yourself while also managing this influx of attention and opportunity, you are going to burn out really quickly. The Two of Pentacles is about working smarter, not harder. The final card in your reading is Five of Wands, and I have to say, this card makes so much sense given everything else that has come through. The Five of Wands is about competition, conflict, and creative tension. And in the context of breaking the internet and building a legacy, this card is telling me that your success is going to trigger some people. It just is. When you rise, when you shine, when you take up space, not everyone is going to be happy about it. The Five of Wands can show up as external competition or conflict. Maybe other people in your field are going to feel threatened by your success. Maybe you are going to face criticism or pushback, or people trying to poke holes in what you are doing. And I am not going to sugarcoat it, Libra. That part can be really uncomfortable, especially for you because you value harmony and you do not like conflict. But here is what the Five of Wands wants you to understand. This kind of tension is actually a sign that you are doing something right. If everyone loves you and agrees with you and thinks you are great, you are probably playing too safe. The Five of Wands is also about standing your ground and defending your vision. You are going to need to be willing to engage in the arena, to have the debates, to assert your perspective even when it is not popular. This does not mean being aggressive or combative for the sake of it. It means being clear about what you stand for and not backing down when people challenge you. Because part of building a legacy is about having a point of view that is distinct and maybe even controversial. But here is the other side of the Five of Wands that I think is really important for you to understand. This card is also about creative competition in a healthy way. It is about being surrounded by other talented, ambitious people who push you to be better. So, while some of the conflict might be draining, some of it is actually going to be really energizing. You might find yourself in conversations or collaborations where people are challenging your ideas in a way that makes them stronger. You might find yourself in a creative community where everyone is leveling up together and the competition is friendly but fierce. I am also seeing that the Five of Wands might represent internal conflict. Like you might have different parts of yourself that want different things, and you are going to need to get really clear about which voice you are going to listen to. Maybe part of you wants to play it safe and not rock the boat, while another part of you wants to be bold and take risks. The Five of Wands is asking you to integrate those different parts of yourself rather than letting them fight for dominance. So let me bring this all together for you, Libra, because when I look at these 6 cards as a whole, I am seeing such a powerful narrative about transformation and legacy, and stepping into a version of yourself that you have maybe been scared to fully embody. You are starting this week by releasing old mental patterns and anxieties that have been holding you back. Then you are moving into this incredible momentum where something you create or share takes off in a way that surprises even you. That leads to a complete transformation of your identity and your relationship with your work. Then you are being asked to pause and integrate this new perspective before making your next move. You are learning to balance multiple priorities and opportunities without losing yourself in the chaos. And finally, you are being prepared to handle the competition and conflict that comes with visibility and success. This is not just another week, Libra. This is the week where you step into your legacy. This is the week where you realize that you are not just creating content or building a brand or pursuing a hobby. You are creating something that is going to outlive you. You are building something that matters. You are claiming your place in your field in a way that cannot be ignored or dismissed. And I want to say something to those of you who might be feeling like this does not apply to you yet. Maybe you feel like you are not at that level, or you have not put yourself out there enough, or you do not have the following or the platform or the resources. The cards are telling me that this week is about potential becoming reality. So whatever you have been working on in private, whatever you have been building behind the scenes, whatever you have been too scared to share, this is your week to put it out there, because the universe is ready to meet you. The audience is ready to receive you. You just have to be brave enough to show up fully. I also want to address any Libras who are feeling resistance to this reading. Maybe you are thinking this sounds too big, too overwhelming, too outside of what feels possible for you. That resistance is exactly what the Nine of Swords was showing us at the beginning. Those are the old thoughts, the old patterns, the old limitations, trying to keep you small and safe. And the cards are saying that those patterns are done. They have served their purpose. They have kept you safe up until this point, but now they are just in the way. So my invitation to you this week is to be willing to let yourself be seen in a bigger way than you have been seen before. Be willing to take up more space. Be willing to let your work reach people you never imagined it would reach. Be willing to be controversial or divisive or polarizing if that is what it takes to stay true to your vision. Because that is how legacies are built. Not by playing it safe and making sure everyone likes you, but by being so authentically yourself that the right people cannot help but be drawn to you. And for those of you who are wondering what specifically you should be doing this week, the cards are pretty clear. Create something bold. Share something you have been holding back. Take a risk that scares you a little bit. Say yes to an opportunity before you feel fully ready. Invest in yourself and your vision. Set boundaries with people or projects that drain your energy. And most importantly, trust that you are exactly where you are supposed to be and that everything is unfolding perfectly even when it feels chaotic. Before I close out this reading, I want to touch on the timeline because I know some of you are going to be wondering when exactly this is all going to happen. The cards are showing me that the peak energy of this week is going to be between Wednesday and Friday. So if you have something you want to launch or share or put out into the world, those days are going to carry the most powerful momentum. But honestly, the energy of this entire week is potent. So trust your intuition about timing and do not overthink it too much. I am so excited for you, Libra. Like genuinely, truly excited. Because I can feel the shift that is happening for you, and it is massive. You are about to break through into a completely new level of success and recognition and impact. And the best part is that this is just the beginning. This week is not the peak. It is the launch pad. It is the moment where everything changes and you realize that you have been capable of this level of success all along. So go break the internet, Libra. Go create your legacy. Go show the world what you are made of. And remember that you are not alone in this. The universe has your back, your guides have your back, and most importantly, you have your own back now, in a way that you maybe did not before. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust that you are exactly who you are supposed to be. Sending you so much love and support for this incredible week ahead. I cannot wait to hear what unfolds for you.